Oh.
Please join me in a prayer and our pledge. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We have the council member roll call, please.
Mr. Powell?
Here.
Mr. Gertz?
Here.
Mr. Lynn?
Here.
Mr. Albrecht?
Here.
Mr. Lindeman is not here. Mr. Fischescher?
Here.
Mrs. Edichico? Here.
Motion to excuse Mr. Lindeman.
I'll second.
Motion made by Mr. Fischescher, seconded by Ms. Edichico to excuse Mr. Lindeman, I think due to a sickness.
Yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Mr. Lindeman is excused from his very last meeting.
Not necessarily.
Not
No.
necessarily, huh?
Can't be the last meeting.
Okay,
No,
I
he's
mean,
got a
if
lot
this
of
ordinance
dates he
doesn't
can't
pass,
make.
you know, it's,
Zoom.
unless there's any objection, the minutes for the council meeting on December 7th, a regular session, are approved as distributed. Those minutes are approved. Audience participation, anyone who wants to address council, please step up to the microphone, state your name and address, and you've got 5 minutes.
Won't take 30 seconds. Pat Orman, 2720 Maple Tree Court. Really just here to thank those of you on council who are departing tonight, and maybe it's your last meeting. Thank you so much. Takes a lot of courage. You spent a lot of time serving the city, residents of Reading, and greatly appreciate it. And to Dave and Katie, see you back in January, and lots of work to do. Happy holidays to everyone. Thank you.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Anyone else? Any communications?
No, sir.
No communications and no guest speakers were requested tonight. No executive session was requested. Any other business anyone has?
Is this when we're going to talk about the meeting that we need?
The what?
The meeting that we need for next week for the appropriations? Is this a good time to put that in there?
Sure.
Okay, so for next week, long story short, everything was due on the 3rd to my office, and then I was out for 5 days sick. And then other stuff got dumped on my office to pay before the end of the year with please and thank you on it. So, plus today was the last day of payroll for that. So we need to work over the holiday weekend, Patrick and I, to get the final appropriation adjustments done. So there was no way to get it to you tonight, even on a regular great time. This isn't unusual that it's requested that we have a meeting the last week for this. So we do need to have one. The Budget Commission people are meeting on the 31st, so it can't be on the 31st. It has to be turned into them. I don't care if we do it by Zoom. Like, my goal is to have it, you know, well, I would say Patrick on Monday, to send it out to everybody so you guys can look at it, or before then if we get it done. So I do the non-general fund, he does the general fund, but I do have a stack of payables that I've been asked to get paid, and that's another reason for a delay. But honestly, it's not a delay because we would have had to have done it anyway because of payroll being this week and versus last week. So it all comes down to the wire on that, so.
I'm good with having the meeting over Zoom. I know that's not everybody's favorite, but, you know, for old time's sake. I'll be all over this place next week anyway, so I can phone in from anywhere.
You might want to check. I don't know if they changed that, though, that you can't do Zoom for, remember they had a statutory period that they allowed it. I don't know. I want it to be valid and legal. So you might want to double check that Zoom is okay now, because I think they changed some of that back. I may be wrong.
Well,
I didn't look into it, but it was worthwhile.
I can take a look into that and send out a meeting notice.
Okay.
Well,
I can't
I
make
would
it.
suggest that we pick a day
I would agree with that, Steve.
in case they don't, so that we know we're going to have at least
A forum.
enough to do this in one shot instead of having to meet
Be
3
ready by
times.
next Tuesday, the 27th?
I'm
No,
sorry,
that'd be
what?
the 28th.
28th, I'm sorry.
Are you talking to me? What? What is the question? I'm available all next week.
Will the ordinance be ready?
Yes, it
by
should
the
be ready by
28th?
Monday, both Patrick and mine. If I get mine done earlier, I will send it out, but we have to work over the holiday to get it done for you guys. So, I'm trying to get all the payables done before we leave on Thursday, so that way he can have them and I can have them and finish them up on the weekend. So, I would say Monday we would have them by.
I believe Mr. Linderman said he could not make it on the 28th. Wasn't that
Mr.
right?
Linneman and Katie cannot make it on the 28th, so
Neither can I.
we'd be looking at the 29th through the
Which-
30th.
I work on the 29th. I work late.
Okay.
29th's not good for me.
Does Monday not work?
I can do Monday.
I can do
Monday's
Monday.
good for me.
Monday.
Monday's good.
Yeah, the rest of the week is out the window.
Well, let's plan to do it Monday, you know, like.
Will Patrick have his section done?
That's what I'm saying, is that we'll have to make sure it happens.
Yeah.
Is there anyone else who's interested in a Zoom meeting?
I mean, Zoom, regular, whatever, let me know, I'll be there.
Yeah.
I think we should just do it here and it's not.
Yeah, thank you. And I apologize for having this right at the end of the year, but with everything that's been going on over the past couple of years, it's one of those areas that I personally haven't focused on, and I wanted to get something done since this is my last meeting after 7 terms, and this is my 28th year as treasurer, so I wanted to get this done before I left office. But the bottom line is, we've got 2 excellent people that run the day-to-day operations in the treasurer's office, our deputy treasurers, Michelle Cranmer and Shannon Holmer. Michelle was here before I started, so she's been here like 30 years. And Shannon, I hired her, I stole her from North College Hill. She was the director of finance, and that was probably 6, 7 years ago. And they both do an outstanding job, and through all the pandemic and all the changes and all the rules, and you've seen the monthly reports, and we compare things to last year, even though it was the pandemic, but even compared to the previous year in 2019, I mean, we had a pretty decent year this year. And I'll give you a real brief update of where we are year to date here in a second. But the bottom line is, the last time we passed an ordinance to give them a pay increase was in December of 2015. And since then, the only increases that they've had, since they're such senior individuals and they've got so much experience, they're already at the top of the list in terms of all the steps and all of that sort of thing. But when I put this new ordinance together, you know, if somebody would decide to retire, or they would leave for some reason, and I have to bring in, or our new treasurer needs to bring in new people, I wanted to have a good step process in place with a base salary and something that they could begin to work from for, less experienced or younger individuals. So I put this ordinance together. Michelle and Shannon, like I said, they haven't, other than cost of living increases, they have not had a real raise since 2016, like I said in the email I sent you. Right now, they're maxed out with the cost of living. They're making $29.11 an hour is what they make. And that was based, that's been since, I think, January of 2021, when they did get a cost of living increase. So when you go through this ordinance, and if you add everything up like I was talking about before the meeting, their annual salary is going to be $64,000 a year, which equates to $30.77 an hour. And they'll be maxed out again, but it's like a 5.6% increase over where they're at now. But like I said, other than cost of living, they haven't had a raise since 2016, and they are so deserving of it, and we've got such great professionals in that office that run the day-to-day operations that, I'm totally in support of this thing, and I tried to keep it reasonable and not, go overboard with it. So 5.6% raise after not having any raise for 5 years, other than cost of living, I didn't think was too unrealistic. And I've discussed it with them as well, and, they're happy with it if assuming that it passes, So that's kind of the 10,000-foot view with a little bit of detail wrapped around it, and why I wanted to get this done this evening, so.
Are they salaried?
Yes. I believe it's salary.
Do they get any overtime at all for anything?
I think they get comp time. I don't know about
They get
over.
1-for-1 comp time, I believe.
Right. So if, like during tax season, if they're working 12-hour days, they'll get some comp time out of it. But I don't think they get paid like time and a half for overtime or nothing like that, so. It's strictly comp time. And they definitely put in whatever's required, they put in the time. They don't ever, it's never questioned. If they need to be, it's just like recently, we were not allowed to send out the not filed letters because of the state mandates until I think it was October 14th or right around there. So we ended up sending those letters out, and over the last 4 to 6 weeks, I was in here doing having a meeting with our new treasurer and Michelle and Shannon Monday. And, there were people coming to the office continually paying taxes because of the not filed letter that we just sent out. And we're already, in the last week of the year almost. So it's crazy. It's just nonstop, So anyway, but the good thing is, another good thing is we are in the middle of implementing electronic filing. I had mentioned that a couple months ago, and you passed an ordinance so we could buy that software. So if all goes according to plan, we're going to have electronic filing operational before the end of the calendar year or sometime early January. So that'll help with some of the foot traffic coming in, we hope, once people get the hang of it and get used to it, so. Tony?
Mr. Gertz.
Well, I think it ought to be recognized that the city of Reading, 1978, changed the policy. We used to have a tax commissioner in Reading with the treasurer and with an additional political appointment. So there were 3 people in the office that actually were deputy treasurers, and we had a tax commissioner. So since 1978, and Mel as well, never changed that. He is, in fact, the treasurer gets paid, what, $12,000 a year or something like that? I don't remember.
10,800.
Well, whatever, 11,000.
Who do all that?
But he is also fundamentally the tax commissioner, which if you go into many other communities, they either have a director of finance or they have a tax commissioner who will be paying probably $75,000 a year or more, and they would have another deputy treasurer making another $65,000 a year. That we looked back at that many years ago and eliminated those 2 jobs and merged them into the treasurer position with the 2 people you have. So when you really compare the operation of the treasurer's office for the last 40 years, it's been operating very economically, and they do an excellent job. Yeah, 5.5% is probably a little steep when you look at it, but if you look at it from 2016 to today, then you compare the raises that I think that the other governmental agencies have gotten, police, fire, service department, et cetera. From my perspective, it looks fair to me. Thank you for the hard work that the tax department does.
You're very welcome.
And the 28 years of service.
Thank you.
I
It's been a pleasure.
I can't believe you've been there that long.
2 years on council, and this is my 7th
And he-
4-year term as
What are you
treasurer.
pushing, like 40, right?
That's what they say.
28.
My current age is the new 40,
I have a motion for,
I'll make a motion we adopt the ordinance.
second. Motion made by Mr. Gertz, seconded by Mr. Powell to adopt the ordinance for the pay increases.
We didn't have a vote on the
Right.
suspension.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, we did.
We didn't. I thought we just made a motion on that.
We voted.
Who voted?
Okay.
Yeah, it was the only thing that,
Voted
Getting
yes.
food
it
already.
was the only suspension we had tonight, and I was making sure we had
I was
6
so
yeses.
thrilled.
I didn't want to hear no no's in there, because we wouldn't have got it, so. So, motion made by Mr. Gertz, seconded by Mr. Powell to adopt the ordinance for the pay raise for the treasurer, deputy treasurers. Roll call?
Mr. Powell.
Yes.
Mr. Gertz.
Yes.
Mr. Lynn.
Yes.
Mr. Albrecht.
Yes.
Mr. Fischesser.
Yes.
Mrs. Edichico.
Yes.
That ordinance is adopted, ordinance number.
2021-47.
Thank you very much, and I know Shannon and Michelle will be very grateful as well. And if you want to, I can give you a quick update on where we're at month-to-date in collections. So month-to-date, we've collected in total $542,737. So as of today, we're running a little over $64,000 ahead of where we were at this point last year. Year
Just
to,
for December, though.
that just this is, no, that's in total. Or no,
for
that's
the
for
whole year.
December. It's for
December
December.
only, okay.
You're correct. And for the year, well, and then if you go to the end of the month, we're still running about $10,400 behind, but we still have 6 more business days. And like I said, I was here Monday for a couple hours, and there was probably at least a half a dozen people coming in paying taxes in the 2 hours I was here. So I'm hopeful that we'll hit our number from last year. Year to date, I mean, we're at, let's see here, we're running, let's see, 700, as of today, we've collected $8,249,523. So we're running 11% ahead, almost, it's $795,565. So we're still running ahead as compared to last year. And then even if you look back to 2019, I don't have those numbers handy, I only go back to 20. So, but I know we're still running ahead, way ahead from 2019 as well, so. So hopefully overall it'll be a good year. I'll be doing my final report. I've got to do a annual report every year for the entire year. And then I'm sure that Brenda Owens will be presenting that at the first council meeting then in January.
Okay, great.
Just one more question. I have heard zero about the inauguration. I don't know if there's, what's happening, where is it, when do we have to be there,
We're all staying on.
all that stuff.
Are you going to do it as Zoom?
Tony's got jokes. I like it.
Unless we're not doing one, I know that we have to do some sort of swearing in of all the new officers and council people, et cetera, so.
I think Shelley's putting that together. I won't be there. I know Tom won't be there. So I'm not exactly sure where it stands right now. Last I heard it was still January 1st at Hayfie, but I don't know if that's,
At Hayfie?
yes.
Yeah, usually
Unless
they
you
do
heard
that one
something
here.
different.
Usually it's done here.
No, we've done it at Hayfie the
Hayfie's
last 2 or
been-
3 elections.
Ever since I've been on.
Yeah, it's always
I've
been
used
Hayfie.
Oh, you're crazy.
Now, years ago it was
My
here.
first one they had here, and they had the food out in the hall, and it really got congested.
It was a nightmare.
So it's at Hayfie.
It's
yeah.
at Hayfie.
Last I heard. So,
We could have it at Carla's house, it's empty.
It's empty.
That might be true.
Everybody bring something.
No, I was just curious.
More
I'm
fun-
sure it'll be
there's more
communicated,
fun
but I
when
just
it's a
hadn't
mayor.
heard anything, so.
They might not have floors, but
Is it noon? Is that usually what it is?
Usually at noon, yeah.
Well,
We'll have a short roll in
someone,
that,
someone
Dennis,
needs to
by the way.
confirm all
What?
this and.
We'll have a very short roll in
Is
that.
that Katie?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but I gotta be MC.
Oh, ooh,
I'm impotent.
my
it's at
goodness.
Hayfie, just so you remember.
Oh, my gosh.
Where's Hayfie?
Yeah.
Who are you?
Thank you again.
You're welcome. Thank you, Mr.
It's been a
Gertz.
pleasure serving the city of Reading for the last many, many years, so.
Good job.
And I'm not disappearing, I may be back, who knows?
Any miscellaneous business from anyone else? I too would like to thank the city of Reading for the 7 elections that I got elected in. This is my end of my 14th year, not quite half as long as Mel's. It was very nice to be on council, to learn the things, to enjoy the changes, understand what's happening in the city. So I recommend it to anyone who has the time to volunteer and get involved with the city. So, and you got a great council coming in, I'm sure. Any other business from anyone?
Wish everyone a Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
This meeting is adjourned.